What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM, coming with my buddy J4Y, bringing you episode number 95 of the Dota On Demand. If you can't, it's right here, the Dota On Demand podcast. This is a great episode, I'm just going to say, to tune in with the camera for more than one reasons. Because, you know, both of our faces, you go to the YouTube, you can check it out live, the twitch.tv, see beautiful faces, and these are just fancy swagger shirts that we may or may not have had printed with our brand new Dota On Demand logo.
Oh, I went to my local Target and picked these up.
Yeah. They're on the rack. You can pick them up there. I mean, have you ever felt sexier in your life? Is the question.
No. This is by far.
This is it.
Sitting in a room with you with this shirt on. I've never felt sexier in my life.
Two men in a room with matching shirts.
Totally fine. I mean, have you ever seen a sports team? They're all matching jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we were telling you guys for a while now that we've been putting in some hours to trying to get this bad boy up off the ground, try to make some improvements, try to take it to that next level, and this is a sign of things to come, and just a teaser, if you will, for next week. We're going to have a rather girthy announcement to make. In reference to the Dota On Demand podcast, which you all know and hopefully love. So it'll be great. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to. So how are you doing? I guess I should ask you, other than sexy, how are you feeling?
Is there any other feelings in the world right now? Doing pretty good. Yeah, like you said, it's episode 95. Yeah. We're getting through there, getting close to that big 3 digits there.
Let's hold your horse.
I know. It's unfortunately not going to quite match up with the international being complete, but it'll be roughly around there. So what we'll do, maybe we'll go do episode 100 when TI4 is done, and then backtrack to episode 97 or something, just so it's epic.
So no one's confused.
Oh,
so
no.
It all makes sense.
That's the last thing we try to do is confuse people. You know, everything we do is straightforward and planned to the script, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm doing pretty good. Got some awesome stuff already going on. Obviously, we say it a million times over, but spoiler episode. So know in advance if you haven't watched any of the stuff and you want to. Yeah, feel free to just wait on this episode, watch all the games you want to watch, and then come back, because we're going to basically talk through Phase 1 here, and maybe a tiny bit into Phase 2. So yeah, I would suggest if you're a little worried about that, just definitely come back to us, but watch your stuff you want to watch first.
I have to say, though, before we get too far into this,
yes,
this is a surprise to you.
Uh-oh.
So,
do you have a birthday cake?
Close. I was going to say, as you guys may or may not have known, J4Y had a birthday a little while ago, and I already got him a pair of T-Swift tickets to go see her live in concert. But I have another little gift for him.
Oh no. What's happening?
So here you go. Here you go, Jay. This is your...
What is happening?
This is your birthday present from me. I think you'll like it. I did not sign it. I'm sorry.
Is it from Santa?
I did not sign the card, BDLM. But go ahead and open it. Go ahead and see what's inside.
This is exciting. Oh my god. The feels. Am I going to cry on stream?
You might cry.
Oh god.
Everybody, get the YouTube open so you can see the tears. What is this red?
What is this red? If it's red, it's dead. That's always been my phrase.
It's not actually a snake wrapped in cloth. It's
oh, it's a shirt, I think. I think it's a shirt. Oh my god. This is the best gift.
I promised you, Jay. I told you it was coming.
It happened.
One day.
Oh my god, it happened.
And time appropriate. Happy birthday, buddy.
Buddy.
Oh,
the feels.
Nothing has been more homosexual.
Oh god, this has been the sexiest week ever.
Hugging over Dota On Demand shirts.
If I didn't have all this fat right now, I would totally swap the shirts out. But unfortunately for the viewers, so I'm gonna not do that.
I didn't warn you to do the spray on abs, so you have to tough it up.
I'm wearing this the rest of the week. I work out.
Here's a viable strategy: wear one Dota On Demand shirt underneath the other Dota On Demand shirt. They don't cancel out; they actually amplify one another. And
this is too much.
Yeah,
this was.
Oh
my god.
BDLM, such a sweetheart. Just making it happen over here, making dreams come true.
You did.
Also surprised you have cancer. This was your Make-A-Wish thing.
Jesus.
You didn't know that was your wish?
That's what I used it on?
That's what you used it on.
I thought I'd get a choice or something.
I know you were looking forward to like Scarlett Johansson or something, but no, this is what you got.
Like a hawk on Sunday, baby.
Like a hawk on Sunday. So that's all I got. I guess back to serious things.
How can we?
How can we? The international started up, as you said. We got to talk about phase 1.
Yes.
I would say a shock to some, if not all.
Perhaps.
I definitely didn't expect it to.
Going in, who would you expect of the 4 teams? There's Virtus Pro, MVP, Phoenix, CIS, and Liquid going in here. What did you expect the outcome? Did you expect the games to be close? Did you expect there to be a clear winner? What did you think?
I mean, I had like hopes and dreams, right? And I have to say that I really wanted all of these teams to win for one reason or another. You know, you gotta support North America Dota, you gotta support Korean Dota. So excited to see MVP make it here.
Yeah.
CIS has Black, who I'm just a fan of in general, and is one of those players that I feel like really deserves, you know, his moment in the spotlight. And then you also have Virtus Pro, who just the way they showed up for the qualifier, and you know, you gotta love Smile. You know, you gotta be on that guy's side,
of course.
So, you know, Team Liquid wind up taking it all, but I gotta say, I was like hoping for MVP or Virtus Pro. What were your thoughts?
I thought VP honestly was going to go through. They have so much experience, like you said. Smile, I've got like all these older players that have just extensive experience. And you know, I thought Liquid could be a contender, but the way they played in the qualifier, yeah, I mean, they got second place obviously, and compared to the other North American teams, they looked pretty good. But they didn't have stiff competition. Let's be honest. The North American bracket was less than reputable. Well, I shouldn't say North. It involved South America too, but either way, it wasn't that great. So I'm like, okay, they'll make it here, but I'm looking at these other teams, and I think they've got so much more potential than Liquid back then. Now, granted, they made some adjustments apparently, which was really important. I hate calling him Pegasus. I'm just going to call him Demon. That's just who he is. Demon/Pegasus.
Horsebird.
Horsebird. who normally played off lane for a lot of the teams, EG, etc., that he played on. Was playing support for Liquid, because when he joined the team, they already had Bulb on the off lane. They didn't really need him there, so he kind of took over that support role, and it was alright, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't a great fit. And so what it looks like they've done is they put Bulba now in that support role and swapped over Demon to play the off laner. And I tell you, it looks so much more natural, so much more flowing. I mean, I've only seen Bulba on a few heroes now. Skywrath, obviously, he knows very well. So I don't know if he's limited. You know, that could be a factor. You know, then again, he may have been limited with the offlane. Maybe Centaur Nax was like his only thing, and he didn't play anything else. I mean, who really knows? But at the end of the day, it's working well for them. They look like they've got this new. Is it Gusto? Is that a word? Or is
Gusto?
Is that like someone's jambalaya? No, I don't know. But that's the word I'm looking for here. Not jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Yeah,
right,
they've got this new jambalaya in their system. No, they've got this, you know, this new fervor. They're ready to take a spot, and like you said, they did successfully. But what was surprising, I think, to me, another thing, was how it was 2-0s across the board. Every single matchup, it was clearly, not clearly in the sense that like it was a 22-0 stomp, but clearly in the sense that, you know, there wasn't a back and forth. It was, of the best threes, each one was 2-0'd.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I mean, I gotta say, for the most part, I found these games really entertaining and a really great lead into the event. And I feel like, even though I felt like some of the teams in particular, I mean, MVP had some missteps, CIS clearly had some, you know, I still feel like the teams that showed up were, you know, at a pretty decent level to be a part of the international, and it was definitely something nice to whet the appetizer, get everybody ready to go into the main event. And I gotta say too, just to touch on the international in general, I'm really glad to see that all of the teams are going to be walking home with a little bit of change in their pocket. What do you think about that?
That's really a nice thing that, yeah, I know they didn't do in the past. Now, granted, there's a lot more money to go around this year, a lot more. So I guess that kind of makes it easier to distribute it amongst the teams. I believe it has it listed here, something like 20,989 is a lot of money to go around. Is it all 16? This is making me look like it's only 14.
Oh, 14's a thing.
Well,
let's say 14.
Let's just say 14.
14 and 16 are the same number.
Roughly. Either way.
Almost everybody gets something.
Almost. If you're the bottom two, let's face it, you don't deserve money. But at least your tickets and hotel stuff got compensated, right? So you didn't really spend money. You just kind of...
I feel like, I guess, you figure these teams are the best teams in the world.
Right.
This is the one competition a year. Maybe bottom two don't get $20,000, but I don't know. I kind of feel like...
reward them for being the top 16 in the world?
Yeah, and, we're not at a point yet where you have, seasons with salary for Dota 2 yet, but, I think just getting to say, hey, you guys are awesome, welcome to the event, you should get something for the time and commitment they put in here, because especially, what if the qualifier teams wind up being in those last two spots? You could argue that they just, fought tooth and nail to show up, and they could wind up going home with nothing, and, I would say that they have definitely showed enough effort and determination to at least get something to walk away with. I don't know. I feel like, especially with the prize pool, what it is, give them $5,000, give them $10,000.
I agree with you.
Support them a little bit.
Yeah, I think they need that, to be honest. It's a shame to, especially some of these. They're traveling from Southeast Asia. They're traveling from all over the world to come compete. And, when they're not even rewarded fiscally for it. This may also be, though, the start of something even bigger this year. This may be I'm hoping each time this international, grows and gets more successful, that it kind of opens doors in other locations. And what I mean by that is we're growing the scene maybe in the Western side. Obviously, in Europe and in Asia, this is already booming. They've got big tournaments opening up. Frank ESL 1 just ended. That was a very successful tournament. Huge turnout. That was enormous. And I know it wasn't 100% Dota people, per se, because they had a lot of stuff going on over in ESL. But it was still a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just want to see that happen I want to see North America get into it. I want to see all these corporate sponsors start really getting into it, besides just the video game people. I want to see... let's get Walmart sponsored too. Maybe not Walmart, but
Walmart gets the triple kill.
And not necessarily to the point of how Newbie got started up, but you know what I mean. We don't need the New York Yankees of each team coming in here, but
yeah.
But still, I don't know. I think that hopefully, what I'm hoping by the end of the result of this is that now it's okay, $10 million. That's insane. That's a lot of money. These big companies seeing maybe I can get a piece of that. Let me throw my name in the hat, get some nice advertisement out there, get some brand recognition going, and who knows? Maybe this will allow for more stuff to happen in the other parts of the world.
Yeah, I gotta say too. There were a lot of concerns building up to the international about the density of LAN events and. Was it going to be too much? Is it too close together? Is it giving teams enough time to rest? Or whatever. So you have to say, it seems like, they're in the phase 1 there were some misfires on some teams, but everybody seems to be doing pretty well. There are teams that are now competing in the group stages that I might have hoped or expected to do a little bit better, but it seems like the A game has been brought. There's clearly a slightly different meta being developed and worked in the group stages, with Skywrath being such a key hero in that. But, have you had any surprises come out of these games, either in Phase 1 or the start of Phase 2?
MVP Phoenix was surprising me all over the place. Warlock. And by the way, can we just outlaw the word rock in any conversation involving Dota? Or maybe in life. I don't even need to hear about rocks in real life either.
Yeah, geology majors, go home. We don't care. Don't care.
So Lumi was just as often he was dropping ultimates. Obviously, he was dropping the word rock, which makes a lot of sense. But it was getting to an annoying part there. And just call him golems. Call him anything else. Call him Warlock's ultimate units. I'll take that even. It just felt a little excessive. But the whole point of that is they did a safe lane, tri lane with Warlock at the helm, which when we used to see him, he was mid. You can hand him Midas, do it, and get Aghanims, of course, Refresher, but didn't really see him safely. It almost felt like handling him the same way you handle a Storm Spirit, where you want to just make sure he gets tons of farm and gets his levels, and then once he has his core item that he wants, or maybe a certain level point, that's when you go pushing bases. And it was just so powerful, It kind of made me, I had forgotten how strong that ultimate is in the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, that cast was really starting to hit rock bottom with how often they were saying, is that great? Did you love that?
What did you just do?
Rock bottom.
Oh,
I said rock bottom, and you missed it. Anyway.
That was decent.
It was not, and that's something that I remember, stating a couple times. You look at some of the past internationals where you have these like pocket stratch of these mini metas that sort of come back all of a sudden, that people just sort of whip out of their back pocket of, oh yeah, we can do this. We can play Juggernaut and be really good against teams with a high amount of magic damage, or Death Prophet for a couple games and showing how powerful she can be. When that's a hero that doesn't necessarily show that much prevalence in the day-to-day Dota. So I am stoked on the Skywrath Mage and the Rod of Atos purchases. What are your
Liquid likes rods.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw it out there right now.
Well,
and I'm not gonna say they represent all of North America with rod liking. I'm just saying that
those particular individuals.
They purchased Bulba in particular, big rod lover.
We
just start going down that road.
We love everyone equally.
We do. Not all rods equally, though.
No.
So, anyways, I thought it was interesting. In a couple of games, it made a lot of sense to me. Like if there was a hero that needed kited, if there was a Lincoln that needed to be popped, things like that. It seemed like a really smart pickup. Also, Skywrath. We've talked about him probably a while ago now about items and what to go on him. And we talked about how Rod of Atos was actually not a bad item, considering it gives him high int, which obviously he loves for scaling with his bolt, as well as giving him more mana pool, but also the health. I mean, he's so squishy, and he needs to stay in the back, but if he gets jumped on, hopefully he has a little bit of health to maybe try to make an escape or do his more damage before he falls. And that's why Rod of Atos just seems to really mesh well with that hero in particular. But he wasn't the only one that got it. I saw a Death Prophet with Rod of Atos as well. It's just obviously an all-around good item. People just question, though, with the money you spent on that, with the, $3,100 or whatever you spent on that item, could that have been better used towards a sheepstick? Could it have been better used towards, I don't know. Obviously, there's many an item they could have sent instead. So that's really always the question at hand.
Yeah, I mean, for the Death Prophet, I feel like the other option would be like a Yule's, but then when you look at Skywrath Mage, you don't need the movement speed. You're one of the fastest heroes in the game. What you do need to do is be able to keep on top of heroes and be able to pump out the arcane bolts. And that, I think we were saying he can sometimes, if he gets too far forward, he might need that tank ability. He is a hero that can function from being far away, but you see him even on this high level tier where he has to like almost overextend himself so he can keep firing off those arcane bolts, try to get as much damage in the air as possible, because it does take time for that to land, and there is some time that he spends chasing after the heroes. So it's kind of neat to see this pop up, and to be honest, I'm not super surprised. Back when you were talking about ESL and where Skywrath started to pop up and Fnatic were starting to use them a couple times, it really did make sense to me where you go, here's a hero that's capable of pumping out a lot of damage very rapidly from the support role. And I'm really curious to see if we see other heroes popping up throughout the course of the International to do a similar job. I mean, with Skywrath, you do have the slow and the silence. If you go to like Alina, you don't have as dependable a crowd control, but does have the Laguna Blade. Short cooldown. If you're able to get up in Aghanims, you can go right through the BKB. Right. Or a Lion, someone who's going to be able to do...
I kind of forgot about that with Lena, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen her in such a long time that I have truly forgotten that, but yeah.
Yeah, and especially when you consider that a lot of these durable cores that are being used tend to go towards the BKBs. We're seeing some bristleback, and not that that's an item that he builds every game. It's potential to show up on him. There are definitely heroes where I feel like the Lena Aghanims, if she's able to farm something like that, would be productive. But do you have any like heroes that you maybe were expecting to see that you haven't seen yet, or that you expect to see later?
Well, that's putting me on a spot just a little bit.
There's so many heroes.
There is quite a few heroes. And,
Techies.
I would not expect him to show up in this tournament in particular.
Next year.
Maybe there's a chance. Depends how long they want to keep him out of captain's mode. But if we can phone me, actually, I would like to see pros use him, to be honest, because I feel like in a pro game, if you could use him well, that's impressive, because pros know how to get detection and know how to deal with the techies. Pub game, that's a whole different story. It's like I could buy sentries, but I'd rather just die many times.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Both are fun options.
Both work. But yeah, as far as heroes go, I don't know. I was kind of expecting a lot more of like super hard farm heroes. When I say that, I mean like anti-fun, and not a ton of them. I'm not obviously. The current the May that we saw right before TI4 is kind of what I was expecting going into it. We're seeing those kind of heroes getting picked to ban, Batrider, Lycan, Tidehunter. All these heroes are all very faceless. Obviously, is now like the go-to hero. He kind of filled that niche. He could be off lane, safe lane. We've even seen him middle, not very often, but he can be. So yeah, as far as that's concerned, but yeah, I was kind of expecting, especially some of the Chinese teams, to go back and do it, but it kind of seems like everyone's adopted this new meta. There's not a lot of what I would call their roots, or what I used to see from these teams, which is some teams just no matter what, they did protect 1, or they're very hard farming, something like that, and they just seem to all kind of do a very similar strategy. Maybe an occasional team will favor one hero over like some hero, like I don't know. Where was I going with that? Oh, like maybe Vici will pick Doom instead of Batrider. But either way, both those heroes are going to be in almost every game. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not really a big rotation right now. It's kind of the same 30 to 35 heroes more or less right now. We still got plenty of time left, and that also maybe. I know I'm talking a lot. I apologize. It's just horrible. Yep. But it may also do with the fact that this is like life or death. This group stage phase. The next phase is going to be still life or death, but at least there's best of 3, so you kind of can do something a little more, I feel like, out there. But if you're bottom 6 in this phase, you're done. You don't even get a chance to move on to the main event, and that's what the big difference. We talked about that before, but that's the big difference between this year and all the other years, is that even if you sucked, even if you were M5 that one year and didn't even show up to your last freaking game, at least you still got to play in the main event. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely something interesting to consider, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of it plays out. I'm definitely excited. There's so many other ways to watch too. You have the multicast. You have the noob stream. Maybe call it something else. I don't. No,
actually, I think it's literally called _noob. Like it's.
Oh, okay.
They admit it. It's for noobs.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which I have to say I really enjoy, because now, like International 1, it's kind of new to everybody. So we'll introduce these heroes to you. I guess International 2 and 3, there was sort of an expectation that you knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And when you consider that this is a huge esports event, the biggest one ever, there are probably going to be people, much like with free-to-play, people that don't know Dota are going to be watching it because it's a documentary, because it's about esports in general. People are going to be brought in to this event just because of the nature of it, that aren't going to know the details of the game as well as you or I might. And
it's so different than, like, let's say for example a Counter-Strike tournament. Someone watches that, it's like, okay, there's 5 people shooting 5 other people. It's kind of obvious what's going on to a point. Like, you don't know the intricacies, but you understand that these 5 people need to kill those 5 people by the end of the round. You can pick that up quick. Dota, there's over 100 heroes. There's all these items. There's runes. There's so many things. Why is this building glowing all of a sudden? What's going on here? Like, so many small details that, of course, we take for granted because we've been playing the game for over 6 years or whatever the hell it is now.
Dear God.
God, we're old. Yeah, but we know that already. But yeah, that's the whole difference, I think. And that's why I think it's such a great idea that they went this route. Now, I have to say, I'm ashamed a little to say it.
Oh.
I haven't even tuned in for a little bit on the noob stream. I did the multicast stream, which we'll get into in a second. And I want to, and I will. Because you know what? I have to give my boy Shane some props. I guess it's our boy.
Yes.
He is ours.
We have adopted him.
We have adopted him, yes, as a child.
Yes.
Although he may be older than us, but either way.
Possible.
But no, he has been one of the, I think it's 5 or so people that have been rotating doing that stream. I know Blitz has been on there. There's a few, and I like I said, unfortunately, I can't name them all because I haven't seen it. But I've heard they've been doing a great job, and I'm curious kind of the approach they're taking. Because, you have to assume they're breaking almost everything down to a point. I mean, you can't go over every single thing, or you'll be, the game will be 30 minutes, your discussion will be 2 hours, But at the end of the day, I'm sure they're doing as much as they can in such a time crunch, and I think they're probably I'm sure they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a healthy thing to have, and I hope it's something they continue in the future. And, when we were interviewing Shane, he was saying, like, they're doing something interesting, they're doing something different, looking forward to see how it turns out, and I definitely think it's a great way to go. And then, what are your thoughts on the multicast then? You get a little bit of a window into some different stuff going on. Have you been in... I imagine you hate it based on your reaction.
Oh, yeah, just despise it. Just the worst.
Yeah.
I have to say, and spoilers have already happened, but Ogre's been picked today. Yeah. So, the multicast has happened in-game, too. But anyways. As far as the stream's concerned, so for those who don't really know, and I hope you all have an idea by now, but if you don't, there's so many ways to watch TI4, and you need to try to use all of them if you can. All at the same time. That's what I've been doing. You get in the game client, you get to watch it in beautiful 1080 ABP. What am I saying?
Wow, ABP? What's that?
Sounds like a technology from like 1960. I wouldn't use that one. Really nice shiny graphics in the client. You also can watch on twitch.tv. There's 1,000 streams, roughly, or 4.
Okay.
And they've got a stream for each game because there's 4 games going on at the same time, right? But then they have the noob stream as well, and then they have this multicast stream. What that essentially is, if you've ever seen, something similar to an ESPN like NFL ticket kind of thing, where you're watching a football game, and then hold on a second, let me bring you over to this game where they threw a Hail Mary touchdown. That's exactly what it is, where there's a featured game. That's the one they take you on. You generally will watch it from beginning to completion, unless it's so boring, apparently, that they just would rather you take you to another one. But I haven't seen that happen yet. And then during the game, Bruno, lovely Bruno, takes us on a journey, right?
Oh.
And things will pop up, and he'll say, just random things will pop up. Thanks for laughing at that. And he'll say, we're going to quickly take you over to the Liquid CIS game. I know it doesn't make sense right now, but... where here you might see an interesting take on mid lane, and then they'll show basically First Blood happen or something. And that's kind of what they happen throughout the game. They'll take you to different highlights of team fights or big events, games ending, things like that. So that way you're kind of getting a little bit of all the action while still watching at least one of the games in completion. So I think it's a really great idea. It's the best way, in my opinion, to get a broad sense of the tournament and how everything's going. Because obviously if you want to focus on DK versus IG, well then go watch that game, because obviously you can. But you could also watch any of these games. You can go back and watch them, because they're all recorded and they're in the client. So that's the other great thing too. If you missed a game, you're watching one of the other 3, and you said, oh, I really want to know I heard that's an exciting game. You just go back in the client and watch it later. So it's a really great idea.
Yeah, I think especially when you consider, for just knowing American football,
right.
You have, 12 games a week. Well, great. You have 7 days to watch 12 games if you really want to watch them all. Here it's you have 3 days to watch 120 games.
Yeah.
So I definitely like you're saying, the availability to sort of get to see, oh man, this team lost huge team fight. They're going to lose the game. Now they're 0-4. They're probably not going to make it. So when you get to the brackets, when you get to the next phase, you sort of have an understanding of how some of these teams got there, and then like you're saying, if you want to go back and see how it all went down in full, you can go back later. But it's not like you're going to show up to the main event like, wait, where's this team? What happened? How are they not here?
And obviously, this has all been built on that recently released rewind system for the live games, because that's why they released it. They're using it. That's how the multicast exists, essentially. You know, they're pulling up from a live game something that happened 20 seconds earlier. And it's so wonderful to see it. This is obviously the best way it can be used, and it's really cool. You know, Bruto's trying to be funny. You know, he's trying to show his wit. But I almost wanted more of a hype person to be like, and now this insane thing happened here at Roshan, you know. And it's more like Bruno's like, well, if you guys join me here, you'll see in the Roshan pit something will catch your eye.
That's a beautiful impression. I just closed my eyes and was whisked away.
To Bruno's loving yellow jacket arms.
Yes.
But yes, either way, that's been my personal favorite way to watch the stream. But obviously, like I said, there's a ton of ways to do it. So however you guys wish, I would just suggest you do what you can. I understand we're all working. Well, not all. A lot of us.
Some
of us don't.
Chosen few.
But you know, like I said, even if you're working, you're missing it, or you're asleep, whatever the case is, you can always go back and watch them later. And I'm sure, you know, once we get to the main event, which is, oh my God, it's a week away, dude. We'll get into that in a second about your future events to come for
plans.
You. The plans. The
reals. Are real.
They are. I hope so by now. But either way, that's going to be. God, this is making me just so excited. Like I was like kind of in a little slump. I'll admit it. I was in a little Dota slump. You know, we were losing games left and right. I was like, I'm not feeling it. As soon as those games started yesterday, I mean, you were like, who is this guy, and what did you do with Jay?
I was about to plan an intervention because I figured you had like started heroin or something. Like you just
can it be both?
Maybe it can be. I don't know. Bounce out a bit. Yeah, it's hard not to be excited about some of this stuff, and you know, I don't know. That being said, do you want to start talking more specifically about the Phase 1 matchups and games and brackets and
Bears?
Magic and Bears?
Bears. My.
The Bears. Yes. So, what I have to say, I wanted all these teams to win just a little bit for different reasons. Are
you talking about Phase 2 or Phase 1? Please be specific
Phase
here.
Phase 1.
Okay, because Phase 1 was the people from the qualifiers trying to get in.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yes.
For those who don't know, that's what Phase 1 was. Phase 2 is what's going on right now, which is the group stage of 120 games.
Yes.
And then Phase 3 is those teams, the middle 8, I'll say. Yeah, that's correct. The middle 8 get to play, and the 6 of those 8 get to go to the main event with the top 2 from Phase 2. I know it kind of sounds wordy, but 3 phases, then main event. We're currently in Phase 2, but now we're going to talk about Phase 1. And now that everyone's not confused, continue. You're confused now.
I just wanted to talk about some of the games that happened.
Could I talk about games now?
I want to talk about the games.
Feel free.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for the coveted last spot, I mean, some surprises may have occurred. You know, CIS wound up not doing so hot.
Not at all.
Discuss.
They did not look at top notch. I mean, Black was still playing very well, as he always has. You know, he tries to carry any TVs on his shoulders, more or less. This case did not really work out. They just looked so sloppy. It was almost like it was painful to watch the mistakes they were making in some of these team fights. You know, seeing them get caught so out of position, it was like, you know better than that. But I think they were just letting either emotions get to them, or I don't really know the reasons, but definitely they were not on top form, and it showed very obviously.
Yeah, there was actually an interview with Zoe and Black, and he was just like, so, do you want to talk about what happened? And she was like, trying to like be nice about it, but like, she's like, yeah, some of those drafts sucked. What was happening? And it's like, well, apparently they haven't practiced for 44 days prior to the international. And I believe the reasons he stated were that everybody went home. All of the that was going to be terrible. All of the Chinese players on the team were going to go home basically to get their passports so that they could go to the international, and they didn't see the need to practice online in any capacity. And then when they returned back, their passports were declined,
Right.
and so they were just depressed that they didn't get their passports and didn't feel like playing. So I gotta say, I really wanted CIS to do well for Black to be able to get some, time in the spotlight, but if 4 of your 5 players just don't feel like practicing, then you can't really want them to do anything but crash and burn when this is for the largest amount of money ever in esports.
Biggest Dota event by far in any of these players' lifetime, easily. And
until next year.
until next year.
Until next year.
When Dota 3 comes out.
Yes.
But yeah, if they release Dota 3 before Pit Lord, I'm going to do something horrible to Volvo. Volvo's factories will be afire. I think this is not recorded or anything.
No.
This thing's not on, right?
When the nearest Volvo factory burns down, they're going to come looking, Jay.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was really disappointing to hear. It's just a shame. These other teams, imagine if it was another team that came in instead of CIS. I'm pretty sure they would have been playing their hearts out before the tournament, trying their best to make it in. Like I said, Liquid looked like a whole different team to me that played, yesterday and today. They obviously were practicing a whole ton. I mean, they made the roster change up with the positions, but still, they just seemed so on the ball. They seemed coordinated. They really seemed in control of the games they played in. And it was just, like I said, they were playing top form. And that's what you need to do, especially when you have a best of 3. You need to get past that just to even get close. 2 best of 3s. So, flying all the way out here, I mean, I feel like that's a huge deal. And it just seems really unfortunate that they just didn't put in nearly the effort that was required to make it on.
Yeah, because, I mean, Blackie was even mentioning, it's heroes and drafts that we weren't practiced or anything. And, you can say whatever, it's going to be on, no ping or whatever, so, it doesn't make sense to play with lag. Well, that's great, but if you're screwing up your drafts, then there's obviously stuff you could have been doing. You could have been, even if you're just studying other teams, I feel like that's a lot of potential lost by not taking advantage of that situation. But I gotta say, I was super stoked to see MVP play as strongly as they did. I did really want Virtus Pro to advance a little bit, but MVP, it's like you want to see them so that you get Korea engaged. You have that country sort of awoken to Dota 2. They have a team that can, go up and fight out with the best of them. They had some misplays, though. The things that were most glaring to me, March's Dooms in Game 1 were kind of on a Death Prophet who had already used her ultimate. And, it's
Right.
And then the Naga Siren, safe lane, or not safe lane, but, being defended in a tri-lane, took forever to get the Radiance up, wasn't really able to have any impact. So I feel like they played all right. I felt they played at a good level, but you weren't really seeing that super high caliber execution that you sort of expect to see out of the top tier teams.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had some issues, and I think going into it, everyone's concerns. At least a lot of the commentators were saying they're really limited on their pool. They thought that was going to be a huge concern going into this. We saw bans come out; they had another arsenal to play with. They weren't completely limited. Now, granted, Io and Brew probably their favorite 2 heroes, and when those got banned, which they did, both games by Liquid. Because Liquid knew who they wanted to target real quick.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like an IO Chaos Knight, an IO Tiny. It wasn't IO with your norms. It was just IO being IO and just being a boss. And it was amazing. They just love the hero. They love what they can do with him, especially with a Bristle or something. I mean, they had some powerful combinations with him. But, yeah, like I said, that really didn't come into play nearly as much as I think all the commentators expected. They really thought that they would have trouble getting through the draft successfully and not getting outpicked in that part. But they really showed that, and they even pulled out a couple strats. That was my favorite part against VP. Going that Warlock, for example, just pulling out these heroes that, maybe a little outdated in the current meta, but still really strong, especially in the right lineup. And that first game, they were really behind. They were losing team fights. I think the score was like 32-21 or something at one point. They were really, it looked bad. But because he had the Oghanims and eventually the Refresher, there was too many rocks falling from the sky. And, they just had too much craziness going on. The Brewmaster ult was causing havoc. And it just turned out to be, I don't know, like I said, it wasn't like super top tier play. But it was really good, and it was really impressive. And like you said, for Korea not really being involved at this point, I think this is already a great way they've opened the door. I think they've already done it. Now, obviously, if they were like in the Phase 2, it'd be way more. You'd have more Korean people watching, interested. And obviously, now that they're out, it's not as much. But I think this maybe gives hope for those Korean teams. Like, hey, look, one of our people made it to the tournament and almost got in. So that's really cool in itself. This may now spark some kind of, hopefully ignite some kind of interest.
Yeah, and even just I feel like they're able to get to the gates. You have the gates of the international. I feel like there's a lot of potential for other players to be like, oh wow, I'm gonna get in on this, be one of these teams, so I can show up to the major event of the year. Because you figure for other parts of the world, they have one team that might have to make it through, one region, and it can be tough to try to have to get behind that. But Team Liquid, I gotta say, I definitely was impressed. I feel like they executed pretty well all around. They had some great plays. They definitely seem to be, I think, functioning at a high level play where I really don't expect them to come out of the group stages without, or not group stages, the group stage without at least a couple wins under their belt against some of these, obviously, top-tier teams.
Right. Well, once you're in it, now you're considered one of the top 16 in the world.
Yes.
Phoenix only number 17. Who cares about number 17, right? No, but, sorry, someone in chat said they'd buy 5 of our shirts. That's much love there, Tim Ken. We give it right back to you.
I will hand-draw 5 shirts just for you.
Wow.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'll ride a bicycle to your door and drop them off.
He's in Australia. That's really impressive.
A bicycle boat.
Like
thing.
E.T.'s bicycle?
Like, yeah.
It just kind of goes up and...
I'll have one of those, what are those boats called that have the big water wheel things on the side? The river boats?
Oh.
I'll take a river boat across to deliver
Great. Why don't you just take like a normal boat of transportation?
That wouldn't be fun.
I'm going to take a hot air balloon and it'll take roughly 80 days.
Yeah.
But either way, I'll drop it off for you.
Get a bunch of balloons, tie them to my house, float over there in Disney-esque fashion. Up? No?
Yes. It's been a while.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Wasn't the wife dead?
Spoiler alert!
This is the spoiler episode.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry, it happened.
Wow.
That happened early.
I'm
Get over it.
Tear up. That's so sad.
I did about the Hawk on Sunday. It's fine.
Anyways,
what were we talking about? Oh, probably Team Liquid. Being number 16 and not 17 because 17 just doesn't matter. No, like I was, I've probably said it now a handful of times, but yeah, they've just been on that next level.
They opened up, I feel like, because they were definitely a team that, when they were playing the qualifier, felt pigeonholed. They had heroes. They played the same strategy over and over and over again. I feel like we've seen a little bit more variety out of them. There definitely were some familiar picks through the games they played, but it wasn't really like one thing where, they banned this one hero we played this game, so we have to swap one new hero.
I'm a little worried if they banned Skywrath against them now. Well, they were getting Tidehunter banned against them recently.
That's pretty strong. I don't know if do you ban Skywrath?
No, I don't think he's strong enough to ban. I think he's great, but I don't know. Because I don't know why you'd be that scared of him, to be honest. I mean, I get what he does, but I don't feel like he's that hard. Especially, let's say you get a hero like Clockwork or someone that can... Clockwork's been picked up a decent amount already. Just get a hero that can jump on them, and then he's so weak. It's not hard to take him out. He excels when he could be in the back, just throwing out the bolts and the ultis and everything. So, I wouldn't use a pen on him.
Yeah, I have to agree. I definitely am more afraid of Tidehunter than
Yeah,
Sarath Mage.
Ravage
but
kind of changes fights.
it does okay. You could
It
say.
can. It doesn't always. Enigma too, getting picked up a lot, of course. Not a lot, but getting picked up a decent amount. Big Daddy, I've seen him on it today already. I'm just saying, Big Daddy black holes.
That is an awkward phrase.
It is. I'm not going to use it anymore.
But
we already talked about rods earlier, so it's fine.
Yeah.
but no, I don't think they have to worry about the picks so much. I think the reason they're not in it right now is because they're competition with Navi US, or Narvi, as I like to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they were against them. Like, that was kind of the tournament. It was Narvi versus Liquid. And Narvi just always seems to, like, play better in that matchup. They just know they know them very well. They probably play each other tons of times, and they just seem to always win. And I think that was what was holding them back, is they just couldn't get over that little hump left. And so now that they didn't have to worry about like that matchup, like being that known and being like, someone that like just know, like let's say you and I played against each other in a game of
Wits and
jokes.
And guns. Don't forget the guns.
Guns. Yeah, so we would it'd be really easy.
Where are you going with that? I'm sorry.
So it'd be really easy for us to counter each other in that game because we know each other very well.
Bigger guns.
But let's say we pick up a homeless guy on the street. He's not going to do so well in that competition, right?
Can't afford a gun.
That was a horrible example, and I'm not going to talk much more. But either way, where were we going? Yes, Liquid deserves to be in that 16. I think they showed it today. It would have been really interesting to me if Liquid played VP. I'm really curious how that would have ended up, because it's not really worth thinking about, because at the end of the day, it happened that way, and that's just what happened. But, VP, really good team. Yeah, so, like, honestly, they could have dismantled Liquid, in my opinion, given the circumstances. So that's why I'm just curious how that would have played out, but it's, like I said, it's not really worth thinking too much about. Do you think that may have gone differently?
I mean, it's tough to say. I think that Team Liquid definitely showed that they were able to make a small number of mistakes. They did have some opportunities in their game where, like, oh man, this could upset the balance, this could push it the other way, and they still had a firm grasp on the game. They didn't lose control. So I don't know. I think it may have still wound up the same way, although, at the end of the day, these are teams that sort of had to fight through some adversity, had to come together at the last minute, had poor track records. So, they really did have their chance. And, there's always going to be some random factor you can say, that can mess with it. But I definitely am just super excited that we got to see more teams have the chance to step up.
More North America representation.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because
how much is in here?
Group 2, what's up? Represent. You got Navi North America. I'm never going to make a USA chant again because that one was terrible.
Narvi.
That was better. Cloud9, half of them, right? We can adopt half of them.
Yeah, Canada's our top hat.
Yeah. And then EG, of course. They got the Swede in there, but we'll forgive them. We'll let it fly. And I got to say, those are the 3 North American teams, the top 50%. That's exciting because, obviously you and I, being relatively close to North America in proximity,
right?
Yes, would like to see more North American teams come into it, and it's definitely when you have this huge tournament in North America to help drive that and help push esports in the U.S., and then you have 3 North American teams, partially at least North American teams, competing. It has to
enough to get college scholarship. Am I right?
Yes.
But no, I agree with you, and I told you from the beginning, right? I'm rooting for Narvi all the way. Not in my compendium, but in my heart.
Not when it comes down to laying my chips down, but
no, not at all. No rares will be bet this day.
No.
But I told you, man, I was rooting for them because remember, I beat Fogged.
Yes, so that means that if they win,
and if they win, beat and Snaking. I beat both of them.
Yeah.
So therefore, I beat the world champions. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. right?
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to root for them, no matter. And because they're American too, right? That reason.
Yeah,
but that thing too. Whatever. But like I said, let's hop into phase 2. Let's get to this. So like I said, we said spoilers have already happened, but we're going to tell you the outcomes currently after the first day. So if you don't know yet, you don't want to watch, now is your time to tune out. All right, I made an announcement. So phase 2, we've got some really interesting stats so far, to say the least. We'll start with the top 2 because that's what we said. The first 2 teams, whoever's the top 2, get to advance automatically to the main event as the top seeds. Don't have to worry about phase 3 where you have to still vie to get in there. Currently, Newbie and Cloud9, and let's just say Narvi because they're also all of these teams 3-0 top seeds. Of those 3, did you expect any of them to be at the top right now?
No. No. Newbie are doing it just to spite me because I gave them so much crap for not having any accomplishments.
Right.
But no, I honestly...
Any of them.
It's great to see, though, that Narvi, having to fight for their spot, are able to show that they're not just in this tournament to drop out in the first round.
Right.
Like, there's still plenty of games to play. The chips can fall some other way.
Oh, there's still plenty of games left.
But just to be able to show that you were in contention for the majority of a third of the games, like that, I feel like it's huge. Just to be able to say that you're not throwaway invite, that you are a bit of a Cinderella story. You're able to come in there and actually show that you are worth inviting.
And they've played some pretty good teams. It's not like, and I say that they're all really good teams. Like most tournaments, you're like, oh well, they played. I keep using Mal. I feel so bad. Or M5, not Mal's. Well, the Mal's is bad that 1 year too. You remember that year.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Poor Cinderin.
Oh, Cinderin.
Oh, Cinderin.
He's sticking to catching this year. It's going a lot better for him, I think. But yeah, I mean, they've been playing, like IG, DK. They've been playing these top teams. Narvi did play Liquid already, and guess what? They won. But surprise, surprise. But yeah, Cloud9, here's the thing I was telling you about that I'm a little pissed off about, right? This is where the chips come down again. I had Cloud9
These chips.
top 4.
Yeah.
Last second, I had about an hour left to change my roster, right?
Yeah.
I decided to swap out C9 for Navi. Regular, old-fashioned Navi.
Vanilla. The
vanilla brand. I'm not going to ask you why I did that because there's no good reason. I'll tell you why I think I did it. It's because Navi just always seems to find a way to weasel their way out of the dark dungeons and into the light. And they, that's what they've kind of done, 2
Forever.
or 3 tournaments,
Yeah.
So it's just like, and you know what, Navi still has a chance this one. So I'm not cutting them out yet, but I'm a little sad about myself because I had C9 up there. And now look at them go. They've been kicking ass in their games. I think they've looked really good. And actually, I do want to talk to you about their first game, but I think you had something to say. You look like you were about to say something.
Nope.
No, you weren't. Well, that's good. They played EG as their first match. Okay. C9 versus EG. Feels like a rematch. It was a rematch. Well, I'm sure they played each other plenty. But I feel like they were in finals in a recent tournament. Wouldn't surprise me. Go on. So C9, what they do is they go this cheeky strategy in their very first game. Okay? They start with a drow.
Yes. Blink.
In their
Mask of Madness,
first 2
Maelstrom,
picks. So they show the cards very early. Didn't stop EG from not banning. Oh, I couldn't tell you everything.
Okay, that's fine.
Come on.
Go
You know
on.
that.
Facts.
Come on.
Facts.
We don't do those here. Not often. It's a miracle when we do. They go on. They get that's the drow middle.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty nice. They got Viper heading up to the safe lane, right, with a Visage supporting. They got their Mirana off lane, and this is where I struggle. I believe, because I can't remember 100%. I want to say Bane. I really want to say Bane is their 5th pick, which would make sense with Mirana and everything else. But that one, I'm not 100%. But either way, think about the 4. Don't even worry about that other support person, because that's not as huge to me. Drow, right? You're going to get the damage aura for both Viper and Mirana. Nice. Visage, I don't know if we've talked about on the cast before, but that aura increase that she gets to pop works on the birds. And they hit like a truck.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect example of the contemporary version of those pocket strats in the previous internationals that pop back up, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a thing. We need to have an answer for this. We need to remember what the response is to this, and we have to respond to it on the fly. That's why I asked what the second pick is, because if they go Drow Visage, then oh wow, we got everything we wanted. That was the strategy that was getting run for that week or so by a couple teams. So. But if you leave that open, then it's, you have the chance to sort of counter it out. You can clearly do that cheeky strategy where you pick all range and you get that aura and you drive your point home. But if you have the chance to break it up and you're not able to take it, then kudos to C9, and that's clearly a strategy that they like to run. It's something that's near and dear to their hearts.
He loves to play those funky mids, anyways.
Yeah, so. And the Blink Mask of Madness Drow. That's one of his inventions, I do believe. So it's not a surprise that they would go with something like that. And
that's the great thing about the group stage, right? It's not a best of 3. You get that win, you got that win. It doesn't matter how you got it. It doesn't matter if you faked them out and went this weird strat. You did it, you won the game, and now you move on. You might not be able to use it again in the group stage, or maybe the rest of the tournament. But the whole point is now you're up a game on everyone else.
Yeah, but I think even to that point, you can do something crazy, but I even like that it's something. It's almost like a final exam, for your classes. Oh crap, you have to remember something from week 1. What was that? Oh, what's that definition? What was that strat that was so popular a month ago? Oh yeah, we have to ban off Visage because that's a stupid combo. So it's really cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what else. Thanks to the chat, Zeus. Yes!
Oh, Zeus.
Yes!
Well, since we're missing it, we're going to have to go and watch that game.
I didn't include him, and I really should have, but I am actually seeing what the other, the interchangeable part is. No, this
like a doorknob,
sense.
pretty much.
The doorknob, yeah. the doorknob heroes for Skywrath are, for just being these high damage, high nuking, I don't know if Zeus was played as a support, but that's what I was looking forward to seeing.
Right.
Because it's a different flavor than Skywrath, because there's no slow, there's no silence, but there is a bajillion of damage to high health targets thanks to static field and global potential. That's the saying, the Lion, the Lena, really being able to do high amounts of damage to these single tanky targets. And even when you said the Enigma, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Midnight Pulse and Aghanim's Black Hole.
Oh my God.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
High health gone.
Exactly. It makes a lot of sense against these melee team fight heroes that you can sort of drag in and try to beat down. So, I don't know where I was going with that thought, but
something about... I feel like I need to buy more doorknobs for my games,
doorknobs.
I like that.
Do-it-yourself
Doorknob heroes. Do it yourself. It would be cool. I would like to see more of those heroes as well. I am a little surprised, honestly, that Lion hasn't been getting drafted a lot at the moment. I guess it really depends on the strategy you want to run, though. Leshrack's been picked up a bit. Venommancer, of course, getting picked up a bit. For the push potential as well as the lockdown that both of those provide. AA occasionally popping up, not nearly as popular, of course, as he was, just a few months ago. But I am curious. Like you said, we're only a day in, right? You only got 3 games under these belt at the most. Not even everyone's played 3 games yet. So we still got roughly 12 games a team to go. Couple more days, right? A lot of stuff's still going to happen. Just because you're 3-0 this year, you could lose the next 12. I mean, who the hell knows? But it's just interesting. That's why I wanted to discuss it, because it's like these top 3 teams, I would have never predicted to be the top 3 at the moment. Alliance is 0-3. We need to talk about that next, because the solo mid tournament happened.
There's so
How did I not
so
mention that? It was so cool. I know you didn't get to watch it, but S4, deemed the champion, toppled everyone else. Was pretty impressed.
I expected Artesis to save the day. I do think it's interesting that he lost in the one hero that is not his style of mid hero, with the Lena. I believe is what he lost to S4 with. So he was left with a hero that isn't that sort of carry style hero. Even the Windrunner games, I mean, he's played it like that. So
Well, he also went balls deep with that Lena.
Yeah, I do remember reading.
He was going
it's
through
funky.
trees behind the tower
With
and
boots
trying to
first.
fight level 1.
Boots first. or
You had to hit the
something.
Light Striker Rare, you lost, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of fun, and I've seen some of in the multicast of like going out to show you the stuff that's even been going on there. So
Right.
you get to see some of the maybe more.
But S4, the champion in middle, team getting stomped right now. I mean, not stomped in the sense that it was like teams are rolling over them, but they're losing and they're having trouble establishing themselves. I mean, I've already seen, a lone druid come out from Emerald Bulldog. We've seen some of their staples, what we expect that alliance to do. They look so good recently that we're like, oh wow, this is the alliance that won TI3. They're back and they're off to a really rocky start. And obviously, like we said, plenty of time. They're going to come home tonight or back to their hotel, wherever the hell they're going, a bar, maybe to drink away some of that sorrow. But they're going to be like, all right, we need to get our shit together because, we could easily right now be in the bottom 6. 0-3 is a really hard point to come back from. LGD Gaming, China, 0-4.
They'll be fine.
They're done
They'll be
over
fine.
a quarter of their game. So that's real unfortunate.
Yeah, I think two things that you said there that one thing you said that was interesting, and then
Yay,
one
one.
thing I went, yay, you got the one thing, and then something I want to pose to you. You just, I think said it great. The old alliance, the alliance that won TI3, which is interesting because I feel like the wins that they've had that are really impressive of late have literally been the exact same thing that they were winning with before, with the Nature's Prophet and the IO, and really using those heroes to control the map. To be highly mobile, to exert their presence where they're needed. So, calling back over these games, once the international's over, I'm going to be curious to see what kind of strategies they were running and if teams sort of were able to find a way to deal with them. But I got your fun question of the cast. If you could take one hero from the top 8 and swap them with one hero from the bottom 8, or team. They're all heroes in my book. They're all heroes in my book, Jay. Swap one team from the top 8 and one team from the bottom 8. Who would you give the bump to?
Oh, to see them go on?
If you were to say, okay, I want Mal's to go on. I love Mal's. They're great. They're not doing so hot this second. I'd be like, send Mal's up. Let's put them on. I'm a lover, not a fighter, so I wouldn't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
But I don't really care about VC Gaming.
Oof.
I watched the Titan documentary, which actually came out this past week, which you guys should go watch. Rhodes was the name of it.
Rhodes.
So I kind of have the feels for them, right? But I definitely really want Mouse to bring it together, even though, like you said, Alliance, they're sweethearts in their own right.
I want Air Gaming. I would give them the bump. I'm a little disappointed they're 0-2 right now.
The Dids.
And they've played pretty well. They haven't been unstoppable if they looked back in the other tournaments, but I would like to see them, and like you said, it's only 2 games in, they've got plenty of time to warm up here, but I would like to see them go up. As far as going down, that is so tough, because how do you want to have someone fall down? I feel like I don't care about Titan as much. I don't. I want to just mention Titan though, and now we have, they're 2-1. This is one of the shocks to the system too. A lot of people, what I was hearing, because I listened to, of course, the multicast panel for a lot of different things, and they were saying there was a few teams, Titan was one of them, where they just had no idea how they were going to do, because you didn't hear a peep out of them in the past few months. They haven't really been active in tournaments. They've kind of been just doing their thing, and so people are like, well, we'll see what they got, and they've shown it. 2-1. I mean, they're not insane, but that's obviously positive. Way better. Alliance wishes they were 2-1 right now. And
yes, they do.
It's really impressive to see that. And so yeah, I would like to see a little more out of Aero Gaming, because I think DDZ has become one of my, not favorite, but he's definitely, I love watching him. I love seeing him play
for sure.
the Naga, the Tinkers, different heroes. So Excalibur, gotta give my man a little love there too.
Coach Excalibur.
Oh, I say Excalibur. I meant Lance. Those are not even close to the same.
They're weapons of sorts.
Yeah, Lancelot was in the same story as Excalibur, right?
The best at life right now.
Just agree with me. So
yes.
Anyways, Coach Excalibur, good lord. Wait, that's a great tie-in, though, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
get into Fanatics, I did want to talk about Fnatic.
Okay.
That was on everyone's minds coming in here. How are they going to do with Era? Obviously, hasn't really been playing with them at all. They've got a couple of nights of practice in before, but not a lot. And we were curious, is he going to be playing up to snuff? The answer is yes. He's 2-1. Well, not he. Their team is 2-1.
This is still going to be super awkward no matter what happens. Like, no matter how the chips fall, there's going to be a really awkward vlog about Fnatic coming out of the International. And, that team, just having watched them for so long, they've been a pretty stable group. I don't want to see anybody go.
Right.
Excalibur's pretty cool too, though. So, one way or another, someone's going to lose.
I love the Era, dude.
Yeah, I miss him. I'm glad he's back. I hope that he gets to show, because there was sort of that controversy of who is it that's stopping who from doing what.
Right.
So if he goes and goes, "Sup guys, I'm told you,
right here,
told you,
nerves be gone."
Practice. Who needs it? Right, CIS.
I was born this way. I don't know. That's a weird Gaga reference, but he's played the Chaos Knight and the Morphling. I know those are at least two of the games. Chaos Knight was amazing.
Nice.
He did some amazing armlet toggle action. He was playing really on top of his stuff. And a lot of times, his main criticism against him is he overextends, he gets himself caught out. Kind of like Horse. But, except Horse does it no matter what. But he, really didn't do it that much. And maybe he's not quite comfortable yet. And so, maybe that's better for their team, honestly. But... yeah. But either way, he's been playing really well, and I think a lot of us are cheering them on just because we were all worried that they were going to have a lot of issues with this. But if anything, it seems like this is probably building them a lot of momentum, and they're saying, "Hey, we have this. We're doing really well despite this crutch, and Era's fitting in just like old times, and maybe we can really do something with it."
Yeah, there's so many great stories. I feel like just through all of these teams, and we've touched on several of them, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But we did skip the question of the week, I think.
Yeah,
we
would have done it at the beginning.
Jumped.
Too much excitement.
It's hard. It's hard. But what we got was the Dota On Demand question of the week. Who would you play in a blind 1v1? Had some great answers.
Yes, we should start. Well, it doesn't really matter where we start. I guess we'll start over here, though.
Yes, over there.
Wherever it is.
Wherever there.
I think I skipped it.
It's over here.
There it is. So, the top answer, according to likes on Facebook, so we might as well start there, from Kevin on our Facebook page, he says, Anti-Mage. Are there any other blind heroes?
Bat Rider's Bat. And...
Well, to follow that up...
I don't know. That's great. I did like that answer.
Jens Scott said Faceless Void.
Yes.
He has no face.
That is
Therefore,
true.
pretty blind.
That is valid. He does have mouth.
He does
maybe
have a mouth.
Nose.
There's a chance there's a little extension of the facial region there. But yeah, so apparently those were just amazing responses, if nothing else.
Yes.
If not,
those were the best answers, no matter what.
But then we actually get people's legitimate opinions. And Joffrey says Kunkka has wada, which I think means because of water in the English translation.
Loosely translated.
Loosely translated.
That's one of those heroes that's just great. If you make it to 6, then you do the X torrent boat. They're dead. They're
Probably.
dead. That's kind of tough to deal with unless you're a tanky hero. I remember reading a Brewmaster across the social media, Skyrath Mage, a lot of really interesting choices. I said Venomancer last week, and I lost middle Venomancer several times over the course of the previous week just to prove that I don't belong there and that I just shouldn't go.
Back to the All-Flame with you.
Yes.
You're banished. I think Huskar wins most matchups middle, to be honest. Who are you going to put up against him that's really going to stomp him? If he gets hurt, he just gets mad. That's all it is.
He's a wrecking machine.
He's just mad at that point. OD, big whoop. You steal Zint. He doesn't care. He's still going to harass you with the burning spears. Sniper may give him a little trouble with the range once he gets range. But otherwise, those brand spears are just way too painful. I think he's one of the top dogs there. And then at 6, I mean, it's pretty much lights out for most heroes, I have to say. But, yeah, appreciate all the responses. Lena was one. May I say, Erica's sending.
Yes, apparently.
Because she's boring, and she wants to play it safe.
I feel like that's pretty ballsy. You gotta land a lot of stuff.
I don't know how that's safe at all. Yeah, Dragon Slave, I guess, but...
Light Strike, you gotta...
Light Strike, for real. Yeah. I mean, I guess once you hit 6, it's pretty easy.
I'd be all over the place. I would just not... I would hit nothing any of the time. So there'd be too much pressure on me.
You would just
one would fly right, one would fly left. I wouldn't know.
Stats and attack speed. That's all you get on her. You don't need to get spells. Oh, you need one spell to proc. You need one. All right, 1 rank in the Light Strike.
And then refreshers so that you can use 2 spells back to back to stack the attack and movement speed. No, perfect sense.
Almost.
I like it.
But yeah, those are pretty cool. We have a new question of the week.
We do.
We do.
As is tradition.
Starting 3 weeks ago. But yeah, as is tradition. We want to know who you guys think, because we discussed the phases, and the top 2 teams of this phase, the group stage, automatically in the main event. So we want to know who you guys think is going to be... Who are those 2 top teams at the end of this? From, I believe, we'll know Friday? I think Friday is going to be when the group stage is over. Something like that. Either way, let us know who your top 2 teams are to move on. Like we said, the current top 3, Narvi, C9, Newbie. But anything can go. So don't completely base it on those.
LGD.
Oh, God.
And regular Navi. Because...
Yes!
Totally. Viable.
LGD, huh?
Likely.
That's pretty ballsy.
They're neither of them are going to make it. That's the...
Wait.
The thing is
to top 2 or just to make it in general?
We'll see. Yeah. I'm just going to say, for last storyline, if Navi don't make it past the groups, will some hats be hung up?
No, because they already have the Navi gear, but Narvi's going to make it. So they just transition.
They just start showing up in yellow
This is truly why they picked up the other team, because they needed a backup plan.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, guys, sorry, we didn't get to wash our regular uniforms. We're just showing up in yellow today. No big deal. We're just going to wear the yellow and black. But, you know.
So those are your 2 opinions. You've already said it. Nope.
No, I really want... Mal's is my heart... I just want them in the top 8. Fnatic and Egg.
An egg?
An egg.
You just can't let Arteezy down. You just believe too much now.
It's really Zai. Zai is my hero.
Zai is cool. He's good. He's really good. Yeah, he's really nice. Well, I don't know about nice. I haven't met him. But I assume he's a nice guy.
I'll let you know.
There you go. Look at you. For me, Cloud9. I believe now.
You're reaching for it there, Jay. That's gonna be a tough one.
And DK. I still believe in DK.
Still believe in
they got a slow start. They're 1-1.
Yeah.
But that's not that bad.
I mean, that's how you end up, what, 11-1?
11.
14.
How many games? There you go. How many games do you think they're playing?
6.
However many they can squeeze in, it's fine.
Whatever.
But yeah, I think DK and Cloud9, baby.
Okay. Well, yeah, drop by, guys, and tell us what you think. I think that sums it up for us
Facebook.
this week. The Facebook.
Twitter.
I'm getting there.
YouTube. Okay, just making sure.
Jeez.
They need to know where to cast their vote.
Come cast your vote on Facebook.com/Dota On Demand. At Dota On Demand for the Twitter. You can stop by the YouTube comments as well. We hope that if you guys are listening and that you do check out the YouTube video of this, because we are breaking the shirts out, the grand reveal. This is the first step of many. Next, it's going to be the Dota On Demand calendar, where me and Jay will be wearing nothing but the shirts. I believe the picture that I have for the month of March is eating grapes off of a bunch hanging just above my mouth. So you'll have that to look forward to.
Pre-order now.
Pre-order now. And if you are interested in some shirts, please drop by. Let us know. Where there is demand, there shall be supply.
And Dota.
And Dota.
Dota On Demand. Come on.
Okay, yes. So, guys, go out there, check out the rest of the International. Of course, next week, we will be doing the show. The following week, it will be delayed because I will be in Seattle on Tuesday.
What a selfish jerk.
As Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'll be doing
But he's
the
not
cast
there for
from the plane.
He's not there for the Dota On Demand. He's there
It's
for business.
actually a wine tasting festival that I'm going out for, and I just have a weakness for wine.
Great.
So, guys, go out there, drop by, let us know what you think about the question of the week, about these fancy new shirts. Get the hype train rolling for our big announcement on next week's episode. Be sure to tune in live so that you can do the crazy, wacky, waving, inflatable arm flailing tube-man dance
with us.
And get some more information on the fantastic games going on in the International. And go out there, guys, watch some Dota and play some if you can manage to stop watching it. We'll see you next week.